Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, yai da dai da dai dai bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbos, Rabbi.
It's good to be together on this snowy Sabbath spring eve to be able to celebrate Shabbat together. And as we do that, as we always do, whether we're here in person or if you're joining us online as well, we take a moment to get to know the people who are part of our community, our lovely minion that's here. And if you haven't introduced yourself yet to the people around you, take a moment to do that. And if you're online, take a moment to put something in the chat to let us know that you're here so that we can wish you a Shabbat Shalom as well.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el ha-meyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemu tiferet v'litila, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Good Shabbos, everyone. Again, I'm just looking. I don't know if we're working tonight online. Alex, just a heads up there. So, for those of us that are here,
There you go.
for those of us that are here, we'll get started as well, and hopefully online we'll catch up. There it goes. The Shabbat is a special one for us because we've been celebrating Purim all week long. We started on Sunday with our Purim Carnival and Purim Spiel with our families. On Wednesday night, we had a special tasting and text study, and then tomorrow night, the actual evening of Purim begins, the celebration of Purim, and our Purim Spielers are going to be putting on a wonderful production to tell the story. But tonight, I thought, in preparation for that, just a reminder of that story, that idea that there was a lovely young woman, a Jewish woman by the name of Hadassah, who also went by Esther. And Esther, as we remember, became the queen to Shushan, and along with her brother or cousin Mordecai, they eventually saved the Jewish people. She especially responds by going before King Ahasuerus when Haman and the king had drawn lots to come up with a plan to remove the Jewish people, to annihilate them, and no longer have them in the 127 provinces of Shushan. But the story behind that, what we celebrate, is that not only did we survive, but that Esther was brave enough to go before the king without being called. That she could have been put to death right away if he didn't raise his golden scepter, but she went anyway. She took that chance, showed that courage, and because she did, she was able to save the Jewish people. And our tradition on that holiday is that we wear costumes. And at the end of it, we take those masks off, just as it's a reminder for us what Esther did. First, she hid her Jewish identity, not telling King Ahasuerus that she was Jewish. And then when it was time, when it was important, when it would save the Jewish people, she went before the king and told him and made sure that the Jewish people were saved. As we get ready for Purim, but as we welcome Shabbat this evening, I think it's also a reminder for us sometimes of the masks that all of us wear, that we wear throughout our lives, that we put up a front in front of other people sometimes and present a person that we may or may not be, but that we want to present. But that inside, underneath, often there's something within that we know that we want to share with others, but sometimes we're not comfortable. So for a moment, I invite you to close your eyes, because it will be one of our meditation-style services this evening, and to look within, to think for a moment about the masks that you wear, about the parts of your identity that you might hide, whether it's to protect yourself, maybe to protect others. Maybe it's because you don't have the confidence to be able to share it, those talents, whatever it might be with others. What are those masks that you wear, that you hide? And what are those things that you prevent from coming out, that you don't share with the world around you, with family, with friends, with community? And what would it look like if you did? If you took those qualities about yourself that you knew would enhance who you are or our world, and if you brought those out and shared them. I know our preschoolers never have a problem when you ask them to sing or dance. They're excited to jump up and do whatever they can, but somewhere along the way, society or ourselves, we stop thinking we're the best at something. But if you ask a preschooler about dancing, they always raise their hand thinking they're the best. Or about singing, they've got the best talent in the room. But at some point, we hide that. We don't think of ourselves as the best. What if you took that thing that you're anxious about and you said, maybe I'm the best. Maybe I'm just good at it. Maybe I just enjoy it. And what if you shared it with yourself and with others? If we do that, then that's what Purim's about. It's about removing that mask, and it's also about what Shabbat is about. A time for us to sit back, to reflect, to think about the best individuals we can be. And so as we welcome Shabbat, I'd like to invite up Toby Alpiner to help us kindle the Sabbath candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you, Toby, for lighting those. And we also kindled our other candle that we use, that we've had lit for almost 6 months now, to remind us of those who are still being held hostage in Gaza. And so as we welcome Shabbat, we join together in our call to worship as we rise together for the words of the Baruch Hu.
Lai la la lai 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 la la lai 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 la 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 Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
I know one of the things of CAYA services is sometimes it's often that we just sit back and relax and don't call out page numbers, but I see a few people looking at page numbers, so I'll share them every once in a while. The next prayer that we'll join together in is on page 28 of our prayer books, the words of the Hashkivenu. Before that, a moment on this week's Torah portion as well. We open up a brand new book in the Torah, the book of Leviticus, third book right in the middle of our entire Torah. And the book is known as Vayikra, based off of this week's portion, which is also named Vayikra, and it comes from the first word that we read in this Torah portion, Vayikra, which means, and he called out. And the idea of this Torah portion is that God is calling out to Moses to share with the Israelite people about the sacrifices that are supposed to be made. 5 different types of sacrifices. Some are there for guilt offerings or sin offerings. Some are there as a complete offering to God that would be something that they would put into the fire that was burning at the temple or in the sanctuary that would be completely consumed. But that they believed that the smell went up to God and God found that aroma pleasing. And so that was the reason that those sin offerings, those transgressions that were committed, that they would say, I'm sorry, and God, hopefully you'll forgive me with this special offering. But there were also offerings of thanks that were given, that they would put meat or flour and bread to be sacrificed to God. And again, hopefully God found that smell pleasing, and then some of that meat would be consumed by the priests who were offering up those sacrifices on behalf of the people. About 2,000 years ago, those sacrifices that we read about in this week's Torah portion turned into the prayers that we say today, that we recite today. That those same ideas, the concepts of giving thanks, of praising God, of saying sorry and asking for forgiveness, those became the root of our prayers in our liturgy as well. But every one of our prayers then took the place of the sacrifices that were made when the temple was destroyed in the year 70, when we could no longer do those sacrifices and rabbinic Judaism was developed. And then our liturgy continued, because the rabbis realized even though these were the things that God had commanded in the Torah for us to do, that there were other words that we wanted to share with God, other things that were on our mind. And the Hashkivenu is one of those prayers. For a moment, I invite you to close your eyes again and to focus on your breath. Breathe in, slowly inhaling through your nose, and breathe out, exhaling through your mouth. Continue to focus on your breath. Something that we do thousands of times each day without noticing, without paying attention to it. And as you focus on your breath, also think of the words of this next prayer. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom. V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'chaim. Let us lie down in peace, O God, and permit us to wake up in the security of knowing we are safe and that we are loved. In your minds, as you think of that idea of safety, that was for our ancestors a prayer, not knowing what happened when we went to sleep at night, what happened to our souls and our bodies. But the belief that tomorrow morning when we woke up, that was actually God breathing our soul back into us, returning it to us. And our hope is that it was returned refreshed and renewed, that our prayers would be answered, that we would have life, and that we'd be able to live our individual missions. As we say these words and sing them with cantor, think about what that is for you. What's your prayer? What's your hope? What do you hope to wake up to tomorrow morning to be able to do? To be able to see? To bring out into our world. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, Eloheinu L'Shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'Chaim.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'Chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'Chaim. Ufros Aleinu Sukkah Shlomecha L'chaim u'shalom Mitav yad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'Chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu לשלום ועמיתנו מכנו לחיים.
And in preparation for the Amidah, take a moment for our own private meditations. They're following the words of our hearts, or for those that are in the prayer book on page 25, there's also a meditation that you can read. Please pray silently. Together now for the Avot V'Imah.
Adonai sifetai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו ויאהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומגדל ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. As we've done for these last few months, we take a moment now in our prayers to think of those who are still being held captive in Gaza, 134 individuals. As we say, Achenu kol beit Yisrael, hanitunim b'tzara uveyabasha, ha'omdim bein b'yam uvein hayabasha, hamakom yerachem alehem, v'yotziim mitzara lirvacha me'afala le'ora, u'mishivud le'igula hashta ba'agala uvizman kariv, v'nomar, Amen.
Amen.
May God be merciful to our fellow Jews who wander over Seir land or who suffer captivity, persecution, and imprisonment. May God soon bring them relief from darkness and deliver them from darkness into light, from subjugation to redemption. And let us say, Amen. Amen. Think of those working to free the hostages, to protect the state of Israel. As we say a prayer for the soldiers of Israel, Mishiberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, V'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel, V'yivarech et Chayalei Tzava Hagana Yisrael, Ha'omdim al Mishmar Etzenu B'Yebasha U'Ba'avir U'Vayam. Merciful God, who blessed our ancestors, send your blessings to the soldiers of the Israeli Defense Forces, who stand guard over our homeland, on land, in the air, and on the sea. May the source of strength preserve and rescue the soldiers from every trouble and distress and from every plague and illness. And may God send blessing and success in their every endeavor. May God bless the soldiers with wisdom, understanding, and insight. May God grant them salvation and crown them with victory. And let us say, Amen. For the state of Israel, Avinu Shabashamayim Tzur Yisrael V'go Aleinu, Barech et Medinat Yisrael. Rock of Israel and our salvation, bless the state of Israel. Spread over her the shelter of your peace. Send forth your light and bring to those who lead and judge her that they may walk in the ways of justice, freedom, and integrity. Strengthen the hands of those who guard our holy land and let them inherit salvation and life. And give peace to the land and continuous joy to her inhabitants. And soon fulfill the vision of your prophet, nation shall not lift up sword against nation. Let them learn no longer the ways of war. And together we say, Amen. Amen. As a community, we also turn to think of those friends and family, neighbors, members of temple, loved ones who are in need of healing. And we rise together again as we take the Torah from the ark. Semi Shiberach, Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, V'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel, U'yivarech et Cholim. Merciful God, who blessed our ancestors, send your blessings to our loved ones as well. To Alyssa Ayudo, Bob Alpiner, Amy Drysdale Atler, Deborah Bentley, Carol Berg, Michael Brody, Chris Burke, Karen Kasman, Alan Cassell, Patty Seresny, Richard Colton, Randy Diamond, Michael Eisen, Ann Gautreaux, Richard Gautreaux, Paula Glazer, Marty Gold, Batia Batbesha Panina, Ava Habercorn Holm, Ty Hall, Donna Marie Hawk, Leon Klein, Scott Klein, Bob Coffrin, Chaya Viva Bat Fegela, Karen Coltono, Marta Lazar, Alan Lieberman, Alan Lippett, Zoe Marcus, Gary Bernard Martin, Leonard Meiji, Gail Mintz, Kayla Ben Batami, Lori Nosenchuk, Razel Bat Leah Miriam, Carolyn Peterson, Barbara Pollack, Eileen Porcelli, Daniel Pusta, Rachel Mibet, Chaim Vachava, Marcy Fisher-Reiners, Leslie Riggs, Laura Rosso, the St. Amand family, Stephen Siegel, Michael Schulman, Roberta Sanino, Susanna Stern, Eric Stone, Len Turman, Karen Thompson, Stuart Thompson, Dot Vernan, as well as all the names in our hearts. May God grant them a refuah shlema, complete healing of mind, of body, and of spirit.
The source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו
O God, who heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, give comfort to those who mourn. Give them strength and courage, compassion and kindness, and restore to them a sense of life's goodness. Give them the ability to accept the mystery of life and let them soon know peace. Help them endure that which no one can understand. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
In the Shabbos, we think of those friends and family who have been taken from us in these most recent days, whose Shiva, Shloshim, and Shana we mark. Barbara Becker, Paul Contour, Harry Kogan, David Levy, Dr. Leland Heller, Lori Faber, Rabbi Daniel Schwartz, and the 251 IDF soldiers killed defending Israel and working to bring home the hostages. And to their names we add those whose yard sites we mark, those of whose anniversary of passing we lovingly commemorate. Louis Alpiner, Jack Bacalar, Paul Backoff, Mary Brower, Florence Gitlin Camden, Joseph Camden, Dr. Meyer Cantor, Dr. Mayer Cantor, Barbara Carney, Lawrence Cohen, Estelle Delinka, Celia Dorfman, Sylvia Estulin, Jerry Finn, Rebecca Gertrude Frank, Benjamin Friedman, Anna Galanda, Hilda Gold, Doris Goldberg, Milton Goodman, Dorothy Green, Antal Gruber, Molly Hessing, Tony Horn, Freda Ingber, Chaim Jacob, Louis Kamen, Shmuel Kleinman, James Koner, Ida Coltono, Esther Korolitz, Sarah Levy, Irving Lipton, James Mather, Abraham Mintz, Brad Merkin, Ken Manicati, Phil Moss, Eva Orban, Abraham Paul, Karen Persinger, Viola Bierman-Rabin, Bert Rissman, Roxine Rogers, Lorraine Rowan, Marvin Rosen, Lee Saperstein, Mary Frances Sorrow, Goldie Schweitzer, Samuel Silverberg, Anna Silverman, Ann Slotnick, Herbert Sott, Michael Spiegel, Louis Stern, Adolf Zucker, Lee Kushner Van Duren, Eleanor Weintraub, Elsie Celeste West, Sylvia Winston, Herzl Jakobsen, Jack Urofsky, Harvey Richard Zipkin, along with all the names in our hearts. And those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, do we join together as one family, as one community? On page 46, in the immortal words of the Mourner's Kaddish, praising God for the gift of life. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'almad v'rach cherutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayachon u'vyomachon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam omei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kedusha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, v'yasei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. The source of peace, send peace to all who mourn, comfort to all the bereaved among us here and everywhere, as together we say, amen.
Osei shalom b'mromav, v'yasei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, v'yasei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbos, Rabbi.
Good Shabbos to those on Tish. There's an active discussion that's going on, which is what I was taking a peek at as well. And so in a moment, we will pause for a moment of Tish. And so if you have a question, feel free to post it there, and we'll be sure to take some from online and in person. But as we do that, just a few announcements, different things that are going on that we think you might be interested in or that we want you to be aware of. Some of you were asking before, and yes, as we started with services tonight, tomorrow officially begins Purim, and the eve of Purim is tomorrow evening at 6:30. We open our doors, and at 7:30, Cantor and a wonderful crew have been putting together and working hard to present our annual Purim Spiel. So it should be a fun evening. Infomercials, and in between there, a cabaret of songs of the past, I believe, maybe some new ones too. A couple new ones that are there, but it should be a fun evening. It's a open bar with the cash donations and food. You do not have to register. If you do online, great, but you can show up without having registered. So 6:30, doors and bar open. 7:30, the show begins. So it should be a fun evening. In addition to that, we have a pop-up movie event that's going to be happening at the Imagine Theater on March 24th at 1:50 p.m. is the show. It's the show about, I forget the name of it, but it's a gentleman who... One Life, thank you. The effects that he had by helping people get onto the kinder transport. So pretty powerful movie from what I've seen in the previews and the story that I'm aware of as well. And looking forward to seeing that too, but that's this Sunday at 1:50. And if you're interested in beforehand, there's also a lunch that you can meet up for. And if you look at the Thursday blast, it'll have more information about that. On Monday, we have our game day of the month, and so if you've got a group of friends that want to come in a comfortable place, nosh on some snacks, and hang out with other people in our community, then this is the place to be, at Temple at 1 o'clock on Monday, and you can be a part of that. You do need to bring your own friends for the game, though, at the moment. Hopefully, we'll build that up again, that if you're looking for people for canasta or Maj or something else, that we'll have some people that are interested in playing there, too. At the beginning of April, we're starting a parent posse, so if you know of any new parents that have a child between right now 3 and 9 months old, and it's their first child, we have a great group that's going to be meeting, and they'll have different professionals that are coming in, and there's no charge for the program. It's once a week for, I think, 7 weeks starting April 7th, I want to say, April 1st. Monday nights, and it should be a great program if you're interested, or if you know somebody that fits that category, let me know, because we're looking for a couple more people to fill up that class as well. The following day and week, on April 2nd and 8th, we have What's a Jewish Name, and the opportunity to be able to pick a Hebrew name if you don't already have one, which on April 12th at our service that evening, we'll be giving people their Hebrew names. So you can come learn about them, how they're given, how to choose one, and then get that on April 12th or another time if you can't make it that evening as well. Another program that is not in anything that's listed yet, but you'll be seeing information about is on April 7th. We have a working title for the program, but you'll get information about it next week. The working title is Finding Hope in the Midst of Darkness, commemorating October 7th, 6 months later, learning, conversation, and prayer. So at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock here at Temple, we'll actually have 2 different breakout sessions, from one starting at 6 that's 40 minutes long, and the other one at 6:50 for another 40 minutes, with different teachers, members of our community that are going to be coming back and sharing. So you choose what's of interest to you. So our community shlicha, Lior Zisser-Yogev, is going to be leading a session, maybe 2, on a brief history of the current conflict, past, present, and future. Having just returned from Israel on our Shir Shalom Solidarity mission, we also will have some members of that sharing their reflections of the trip. We'll have a group that's meeting on the understanding the nuanced words and language when talking about Israel. A class on ceasefire now, why or why not, and another opportunity to see some work that was done by a group called Rays of Light, which are personal accounts of women survivors of the Nova Festival sharing their stories in an artistic representation. So lots of great things happening that night. You'll see some information about that and have a chance to sign up for it too. And the last announcement that I'll share with you, that's April 7th, Sunday, April 7th. The last one is on Tuesday, April 16th, only because I know some of you joined us online for it. We are doing our first in-person trivia night. BYOB, some snacks that we'll have on for you, but just a fun night of trivia here at Temple. 5 or 6 rounds of general trivia questions. You can put together your own team, or we'll help put together a team for you if you want to come meet some other Shir Shalomers. So should be a fun evening. And if you want to hang out with actually the Schumans and the Alpiners, they're both signed up for it. May 14th through the 16th, we've got our Jewish Cincinnati tour that we're moving ahead with and getting ready for that. And so come join, be a part of that, and I can share more details about that. But with that, that was a lot of announcements. A lot of great things happening here at Temple. We're really proud of that. Your questions, a moment of Tish. There were some things online, but I got to get my good eyes out to see it. So, Gary, you can start us off. That is a fantastic question. The question for those online that couldn't hear it is, when will we be getting occupancy for our new space? There's all sorts of other details that I can share, but I'm going to be nice online right now and share that we're hoping to have that this week, where I know that the state fire marshal is coming in on Monday, and then the next part is West Bloomfield sharing and coming and giving us a temporary certificate of occupancy. So very soon is our hope. There are some challenges there. So, Terry, let's talk. So, Terry said hopefully not the West Bloomfield part. I'm being nice right now. Yes. All good. It'll happen soon, and our hope is to be in there very quickly. Online, Mel asked, will any of these programs be on Zoom? The answer is yes. Some of the programs will be on Zoom. On April 7th, I know that we'll have some of that we can Zoom in and be a part of as well. The other ones is Purim Spiel. I know it's being recorded, but I don't think it's going to be live streamed. Is that correct? Yeah, it's a private recording for the cast to view later on, I believe. If you can't be here, come join Cantor for the viewing party for that. But most of these programs, the What's in a Jewish Name, we can do that one online. So if you're interested in that, just let the office know that you'd like that one online as well. Linda Roney asked, I can tell I'm aging. On a TV channel, I do have the bifocals, but I convinced my doctor I shouldn't have them when I'm reading on the Bima. Because when I'm giving a sermon, I need to be able to look down, and if I look down, I need the close-up stuff. So I do have bifocals at home on a different one. Sorry, Dr. Schwartz. It was argued that the U.S. should model immigration on the Bible's Old Testament, welcoming migrants only as long as they are accepted Israel's God, laws, and understanding of history. Is the above accurate? I saw it today, and it's my understanding that we welcome the foreigner. So I would say your interpretation is accurate, that we welcome the stranger, that they didn't have to accept Israel's God, laws, or understanding of history when we were talking about biblical times and what was happening. Numerous times we're told to love the stranger, our neighbors as ourselves. We welcome the stranger who's in our midst. There's a number of different concepts when it talks about the stranger. One of them is known as the ger, and then there's also the ger toshav. The ger toshav is somebody who is acquiring our ways, who does say, your God is my God. It's the person who is eventually converting and is part of our community. And then there is also the ger who's in our midst, the foreigner, the stranger that's in our midst as well. But that person, it depended on how they came into our community. If we're talking in biblical times when there were still slaves that were around, those people were actually acquired. And so they took on some of the traditions that we had. They didn't become practicing Israelites in a way, but they did get to observe the Sabbath. We were told that even the stranger in our midst gets to have a seventh day off. It gets to rest and be able to enjoy that. But they were able to maintain their own beliefs, their own understandings of God, and practice for us what was considered idolatry at the time. There are also references where it's taught where we're not supposed to have idolaters in our midst. And when we entered into the land of Canaan, one of the things that the Israelites were supposed to do was to wipe out the other people that were in it that were idolatrous practices as they went through. So you can interpret in a variety of different ways. I wouldn't say that there's one set interpretation there, other than that we do talk about welcoming the stranger in our midst. Toby? So Toby asked about the question of former President Trump that's saying that Jews that vote for Democrats are anti-Israel and anti-Semitic. Has there been a response? And we actually, right as that happened, our phones started blowing up as well. I don't know if there's been any formal responses to it. Part of it is that we know that there's Jews that vote Republican, there's Jews that vote Democratic, there's Jews that are independent voters, and they're not anti-Semitic or anti-Israel. affiliation with any of the party. I think that's also the challenge that we face today, is that we say that one party is pro-Israel. Both major parties for many years have been pro-Israel in their approach to things. There are representatives on both sides who are pro-Israel, and there are representatives on both sides that we wish were more pro-Israel, and some that are problematic, to be honest, as well, and as we look at them. But I don't think that you can make a blanket statement and say, if you vote one way, that you're anti-Semitic or anti-Zionist. But has there been a large public outcry or a statement? I'd look to the Council of, there's a Council of Jewish Agencies, the presidents of major Jewish agencies. I imagine that there's somewhere in there, some of them have talked about that, but I don't know what public statements have been made this week. But what we can say is that no matter which way we vote, we all enjoy a wonderful oneg, and we love to eat and nosh as a people. And so we join with Cantor as we rise together for our kiddush, for our special blessing, sanctifying this Sabbath day, our time together, before we go out to enjoy that nosh.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafel. Amen. L'chaim.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you, and may God protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God shine upon you. May God shine through you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom.
May God lift you up, giving you the strength to be you. Most of all, may God bless all of us, here and everywhere, with peace.
V'yasim lecha shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.